She likes baseball, not basketball. Oh. Shut down. Oh. Just friends. Hello, fellow anime geeks. Welcome to another first impression video in this fall 2020 anime season. I'm trying every anime series premiere that I can to hopefully give you guys a bit more information on this ongoing season. Per usual, I'll be organizing my first impressions by answering these 4 questions, and today I'm talking about a PA Works anime original, Kamisama ni Natta Hi, or The Day I Became a God. This only has 2 mal tags, drama and fantasy, which honestly leaves me even more confused because after the first episode I was sure that this was just a cute, funny slice of life with a supernatural premise that the divines are amongst us. There's this super cute little girl and she's running around claiming to be the god Odin, and she moves in with our super average looking protagonist. But then the second episode happens and I can barely breathe because I'm laughing so hard. So I'm like, oh, okay, so this is a shonen comedy, kind of like Tonikawa. And then I see the drama tag. Now, this is PA Works, but as far as I understand it, if I'm reading this Day News article correctly, link in the description, then the major players at work in this are also the people that were behind what I like to call the trilogy of sadness, Kanon and Clannad, and that just kind of makes me feel like we're being brought up so that then they can just completely crush us at the end. So therefore, even though these first 2 episodes are just straight up comedy slice of life, I'm gonna have to say for now that this is a supernatural drama. Plot-wise, I've already mentioned this, but Odin, in the form of this really adorable little girl, visits Earth because in 30 days, the world is going to end. We don't know how, but presumably this is tied to the title of the show, which is also kind of weird and ambiguous. At first I thought that the title was referring to our male protagonist, but then it kind of would also make sense for our female protagonist, Odin. Like, maybe the final test in gaining your divine status is saving the world, and she's got this bizarrely normal Japanese name, Satohina, and then the family that takes her in claims that she's a distant relative. And then there's our protagonist's name, which I guess from the explanation in the show loosely translates to I will become the sun god. So lots of ambiguous components in this show. But this plotline does offer a very straightforward component and storyline, and it might be perhaps the source of our eventual tragedy, but let's not think that far ahead. I'm talking about the love story. Our male protagonist is in love with his childhood friend, and most of the runtime in episode 1 and 2 is spent with us witnessing all of his hilarious attempts to try to woo her. And this is probably my favorite thing about this show, the comedy. Yeah, a lot of the components of this show feel very much like any PA Works anime out there, but the comedy is so well timed and so based on real human experiences that I couldn't help but just feel the embarrassment right alongside our protagonist. If, and only if, this goes the way that I think it's gonna go, then I think that the plot will be pretty original. At least I hope that it's not as unoriginal as this beginning suggests. The title, the premise, the poster, it all made me feel like I was gonna be watching a male equivalent of Kamisama Hajimemashita. So, is it worthwhile? I'm gonna say yes, because I'm expecting an interesting story. And in the meantime, they're doing a really good job of the setup, the build-up. Our characters are really likable and they're funny. But I do want to mention that although this is supernatural, it seems like the focus is going to be more human-centered. As in, we're going to focus less on the actual supernatural thing and more on how these people feel about the supernatural thing happening. Also, despite the hilarity of episode 2, nothing really happened, narratively speaking. So if you were looking for a more action-packed fantasy, then I don't think this is the one. And if my guess is correct, then I don't think this is even gonna end up being a comedy either. And on that confusing note, I'll catch you in the next video. Okay. ごめんなさい。